Mr. Halevi, we have been listening a lot to the terrorists doing knife attacks, and most of the victims are going to Shaare Zedek. Can you share with us some of these experiences?
Yeah. Well, these are, of course, unfortunate experiences, but Shaare Zedek Medical Center today is the only major hospital in the center of Jerusalem. We are in the center. Most of these stabbings occur either in the old city, near the gates of the old city, or in Hebron, or in Gush Etzion. And all of them, the first major trauma unit is Shaare Zedek. That's why most of them come to us. Although Hadassah, which is on the western outskirts of the city, also has a very good trauma unit. But the most severely wounded would not survive if they need the 10 additional minutes to go by ambulance, and that's why they come to us. We founded at Shaare Zedek 7 years ago a very modern trauma unit adjacent to our emergency room. It's headed by my deputy, Dr. Ofer Marin, who is a Ofer Marin, who is a heart surgeon but trained in trauma. And we are trying to save lives every day there. In the last 4 months, we did 11 cases of open heart massage in the emergency room. And few of them, survived to go home, and many other, really hundreds of patients of stabbings and gunshot wounds that came to us. And the work of saving lives is our everyday life, and we are very proud of it. We really saved many lives that would not survive had they not been evacuated quickly and promptly to our trauma unit at Shaare Zedek.
Can you share with us one of your experiences in the last month?
Yes. Yeah. We had a young patient, 23-year-old, who came with stabbings in his neck, and the main artery leading to the brain, the carotid artery, was cut in half, and he had major bleeding. He arrived by the EMS, Magen David. He arrived and he was resuscitated immediately. He was in shock. He got 72 units of blood and blood products. The vascular surgeon, is the surgeon who operates on blood vessels, did major surgery to reconstruct his artery, and he left the hospital with no neurological damage. 2 weeks later, walking on his legs, and his life was saved. This is just an example of many patients that we get these days.
And there is a historic relationship between Shaare Zedek and the IDF. Can you tell us a bit about this relationship?
Yes, actually the IDF signed contracts with all the major hospitals in Israel. But again, because we are in the center of Jerusalem, there are many soldiers around Jerusalem. So during peacetime and during wartime, we serve as one of the first responders. There are close to 1,000 soldiers who come every month to our emergency room to have surgery. In peacetime, soldiers also, they fall sick, they have diseases, they develop fever, sometimes they are wounded, so they are brought to us, and sometimes for elective surgery. A soldier can be in a need of hernia surgery or acute appendicitis. So we see many soldiers, and we like them very much because, first of all, we serve the IDF, which is that's how we live in Israel. We need the IDF, and we all love the IDF. We all served in the IDF. And second, it lowers the average age. All these male and female soldiers who fill the hospital create a very young, happy atmosphere. And we have another kind of relationship. Again, my deputy, Dr. Marin, that I mentioned before, his reserve service is to be the commander of the IDF field hospital that goes to the aid as relief missions to countries with major disasters. Nepal, in April, end of April this year, there was the earthquake in Nepal. So we went there, I was there too, as part of the IDF mission, the field hospital in Nepal. So Shaare Zedek really has very strong relationship with the IDF.
What is your first thought when a terrorist comes? Because you also...
When a wounded terrorist comes? Well, I have very formed opinions on that. We are medical people. Our mission is to save lives. If a terrorist will try to attack me in the street, I am committed, to fire at him. Once he crosses the doorstep of the hospital, he is a patient. And he will treat him. He will be guarded by the security forces, but we will give him medical and surgical treatment as needed.
What is it for you to manage such a big institution like Shaare Zedek? What are the challenges?
Well, it's a big challenge because, managing a hospital means having overall responsibility for 1,000 patients every day. And although I don't treat them personally, I have my own clinic, I'm a professor of medicine and liver diseases, but most of the patients are treated by our 700 physicians and 1,300 nurses. But it's my task and my responsibility to recruit the right staff, the top people, to educate them properly, to combine medical and humanistic approach to the patients, to see to it that they will have the best equipment. And that's actually what we are doing here in Mexico. We are trying to raise funds to build new departments, to buy equipment. So it's my responsibility to supply them with the best equipment, to give them the best training, to give them the best working conditions in terms of the environment. If there is a new model of an MRI machine, I have to recruit the money in order to buy it and install it. So it's a whole complex issue that involves managerial, medical, financial, and social aspects. And it's difficult, it's a big challenge, but it's fascinating. And I'm doing it for 28 years, and despite the objective difficulties, I enjoy every minute.
Why is medicine so good in Israel?
So good in Israel. First of all, as you know, it's a Jewish profession, and for generations, Jews made. You go to New York. New York is a city of 10 million people, but you go on Park Avenue and you see the signs of the clinics, Dr. Shapiro, Dr. Cohen, Dr. Levy. So we have a tradition of studying medicine and doing medicine. In addition to that, I'm very proud as an Israeli that we have national health insurance in Israel, by which every citizen, in return for 4.8% of his or her gross salary, are entitled to a very vast, wide basket of services that is delivered in the best hospitals with the best equipment. We have our problems. For non-urgent surgery, there are waiting times that many times are too long. We are now in the middle of the winter in Israel, so the departments and the emergency rooms are very crowded. But the medical personnel is highly trained and very devoted, and I believe that this is our secret, and that's the answer to your question, how come that we have such good medicine in Israel?
And you deliver, Shaare Zedek delivers more babies than any other hospital in Israel, and I heard of the world.
Probably the Western world. I don't know about China and India, but in the Western world, most modern hospitals have 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 deliveries a year. We have 22,000.
Is it because you cater to the Orthodox?
No, we cater to everybody. If you go about the corridors of the hospital, you will see an exact reflection of the population of Jerusalem, including ultra-Orthodox Arabs and secular Arabs, ultra-Orthodox Jews and secular Jews, modern Orthodox Jews. Every ethnic and cultural group is represented. But Jerusalem is a very prolific city. The ultra-Orthodox give birth to more children. It's not uncommon in our delivery room to deliver a 10th baby of a mother or an 11th baby. But also we develop this expertise and people come to us. There is another hospital in Jerusalem, Hadassah. They have two hospitals, like we have two hospitals. Between the two hospitals, they have 11,000, and we have doubled this number, 22,000. So we always renew our maternity departments. We build more delivery rooms. Our NICU, neonatal intensive care unit, is ultra modern, well equipped, and the public knows it, so they trust us.
Because there was an article that you don't do a lot of C-sections. You like natural birth.
Yeah, we are for natural birth, but I have to be fair. I don't want to boast, of things that are not true. Part of the low cesarean section rate, which is between 11 and 12%, in the Western world it reaches now 30. In Israel it's 20. We have 12%. Part of it is because we are very, we are for natural birth, but part of it is because of our patient population. A mother who comes to give birth to her sixth child has a much lesser chance to need a cesarean section than a mother that comes to give birth to her first child. And we have many multiparous women. Multipara is the professional term for a woman who gives birth to more than 4 children.
Okay. And you were the chairman of the Israel Transplant Center.
That's correct.
Is transplant allowed in Judaism, and is it in Israel?
Yeah, I was asked this question already this morning. Of course. In Israel we do hundreds of transplants a year. The transplant center in Israel, which I chaired for 6 years, back a few years ago, is promoting signing of donor cards and allocation of organs to the people who most need it. And of course it's allowed. It's allowed in Judaism. Only the strictest halachic rulers do not recognize brain death as death. Most of the Jewish halacha rulers recognize that modern medicine can define brain death and can take the organs, and we do it, of course.
Because
there is some controversy. I'm not saying that everybody agrees, but the majority, if you ask, no, for the sake of taking an organ to save other lives, there is no problem to touch the body. The issue is if brain death is death like heart death. But if you ask all your rabbis here in Mexico, everybody, and I met many of them in the 2 days that I'm in Mexico, they will all tell you that brain death is recognized and that signing a donor card is a big mitzvah.
Many people sign this donor card?
Yeah, in Israel we almost 1 million are signed. It used to be very few, but because of the activity of this transplant, yeah. And don't forget that there are 1.5 million under the age of 18, so they cannot sign. No, we have 8 million people in Israel. 1.5 million are under 18, so they cannot sign. Out of the 6.5 million adults, 1 million are signed. We hope for more. We are disappointed with this figure.
And you also wrote a book on alternative medicine.
That's correct.
What are the advances about this in Israel?
Well, alternative medicine is culture-based, tradition-based, so there are no innovations in alternative medicine. The question is if alternative medicine has place in ultra-modern evidence-based medicine. And I believe that if you act smartly and you send patients to alternative medicine only in certain indications, especially if you feel that the mind-body connection is very important for their healing, and you use skillfully alternative medicine, it has place in modern medicine. Alternative medicine does not aspire to do surgery, to cure cancer, but if a cancer patient gets modern chemotherapy from conventional medicine and he needs pain alleviation with alternative medicine, there is no harm in that. All the major oncology departments in Israel, including Shaare Zedek, has a small unit for alternative medicine to help the patients alleviate their physical and emotional pain.
And what are you doing now in Mexico?
Well, we are starting an office here that will be run by Carol Barussi, and she's sitting now to the left of me. And we get no government support for our activities in Israel. We balance our operating budget from the treatment of patients, so we are paid by the medical insurers, but to develop the hospital, to build new departments, to buy new equipment, we are dependent on generosity of donors from around the world. We have offices in New York, in Florida, in Chicago, in San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Now it's time for Mexico. There is a very vivid Jewish population here. Actually, they are all your viewers, and they are people who love Israel, love Jerusalem, appreciate the work that a major hospital in the center of Jerusalem does. Many of them are very able financially, and we hope that through Carol they will help us develop the hospital. That's what I'm doing here in Mexico City. First of all, I was very impressed with the vast activity and with the circulation. You just showed me my before this interview how many members you have on your Facebook site and how many readers you have on your website, and that it goes not only to Mexico but to all Latin America actually. So my message is that we are thinking about you in Latin America back in Jerusalem, because we think that the Jewish people should be united, and we also depend on your love for Israel, for the Jewish people, and for Jerusalem. And the main message is that if you come to Jerusalem and take a trip to Jerusalem, come and visit us. It will be my pleasure to host you and to show you the kind of professional, humane, and kind medical work that we do at Shaare Zedek Medical Center.